Hello, and welcome back to the Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr, and I am not feeling so well. I am sick. It is not COVID, but I am pretty banged up. I'm got like a head cold. I'm really phlegmy and gross, and I'm just coughing my lungs out. I've tested for COVID a couple times. It's not that. That we can confirm, but I'm it's late in the season and I'm not feeling 100% just like everybody else. It's a couple weeks till the Super Bowl and no one's playing at 100%. Um yeah, so we're going to do what we normally do weekly. We're going to review what happened last week. I'm going to take a little victory lap cuz my predictions were good. Off of last week, and then we're going to go preview next week's games. Or we're going to preview this weekend's games. The conference championship games. You ever think that the conference championship sound like, or the conference champion sounds like a dude at some sort of business retreat that like everyone likes? Like that guy's a real conference champion. Sorry, I digress. What happened last week? So we started with the Ravens in Houston. I took the only incorrect bet of the week I had was Houston plus 9.5. It felt good going into halftime when it was 10-10 Ravens Houston, and the Ravens were like, no, this will not stand. And then they scored 21 unanswered points. Yeah, so it was um, that and under 43.5 both hit. Lamar went into Super Saiyan mode in the second half, and everything changed. And yeah, the Ravens defense, not counting a special teams touchdown for the Texans, only allowed 3 points in the entire game. No touchdowns allowed by the actual defense. Pretty crazy. They're looking pretty scary going into next week. So then we had Green Bay and San Francisco. Green Bay fought extremely valiantly, but then at the end of the game, they gave it up. I took Green Bay plus 9.5. They lost by 3. I took the over 50.5. That hit. And as upset as I am to say it, dastardly Dre Greenlaw was the man of the match with 2 interceptions. Every talking point around Brock Purdy gets more and more inflamed. Is he bad? Is he good? Whatever you believe when you watch the games is what you see with this guy, I'm convinced. Like, I'm more and more confused the more information I get. He's either terrible or awesome. Maybe we'll find out over the next 3 weeks here. Or maybe we won't. Tune in to find out. Then we've got, we had Detroit playing. Who were Detroit playing last week? Oh yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we took Detroit minus 6.5. And we took the over 48.5. Both those hit. The one thing I remember very clearly about this game was just that Mike Evans is a cheat code. Like, they might have lost the game. But Mike Evans is such a beast. He just, like, kept coming up with huge plays when they needed him to. And, some very strange coaching by Todd Bowles at the end of this game. Me and one of the previous guest hosts of this podcast, who will remain unnamed for privacy's sake, were texting about the math of going for 2 when you're down 14. Apparently, a lot of the analytically minded people really like that play. I could be convinced it's the right call, but ultimately, it becomes the wrong call when you call like the goal line fade. Shout out Mina Kimes for explaining that whole thing. But, it's like, sure, you can go for it there, but And, like, it can make sense on paper, but you're going to look real dumb when you don't come up with anything. And now you've got to go for 2 on the final touchdown if you even get there, which they didn't. They lose by 8, 6.5 covers. We like to see it because that's what we predicted. And also, this Lions has a Team of Destiny vibes, and we love to see them move on. And then we had one of the most heartbreaking games I've seen in a while. Chiefs-Bills. The Bills fans feel good. They've locked up a home game for the first time against their Jabberwocky team, the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 of the last 5 years, or 2 of the last 5 years before this weekend, the Bills had lost this matchup and been thrown out of the playoffs. They had high hopes coming into this one, only to have those hopes ripped from their hands in the final minutes of the game. They were playing pretty good. A back and forth game for sure. But they needed to get a field goal after the 2-minute warning to tie this game up. And they would drive down near or into the red zone, and their kicker would shank it wide right with, a little under 2 minutes left. This was difficult for me as, I kind of feel like the Bills botched the whole end of the game there because even in the best case scenario, had they hit that field goal, they're trying to prevent Patrick Mahomes from just, taking the middle of the field and getting Harrison Butker in range, who is quite an elite field goal kicker himself. I tend to think that even if they had hit that field goal, the Bills were doomed anyway. I might have thought that because I took the Chiefs plus 2.5. That hit. Over 45.5 also hit. We're feeling good. All the theses worked out. And yeah, going 7 for 8 feels good. Like to do that. Hasn't happened a lot this year, so I'm going to take my victory lap when I can. The, what do you call it? The lasting image from the Chiefs game, though, was not really a football image. It was the luxury box housing the Kelsey family, Taylor Swift, various other celebrities, the Mahomes family, and that's the stakes of the upcoming weekend. I bring this up because we are now previewing the this weekend's games. We've got the first game, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I bring up the luxury box because I believe that there is only one man who can prevent the Taylor Swift Super Bowl, and his name is Lamar Jackson. I think that the NFL will do what they can to put their thumb on the scale in order to create a situation where the Swifties are watching the Super Bowl. And for that reason, I will be taking Kansas City plus 4. My analytical mind says that the Ravens are playing better. They're at home. Their defense is unlike anything the Chiefs have faced in this postseason. It's not even close. That being said, I feel something fishy going on here. You can get more than a field goal betting on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think when you get that kind of opportunity, you bet it till your fingers bleed. Let's go. We're taking the Chiefs plus 4. It feels like a betrayal. And I don't feel good about it. I love this Ravens team. But we're taking Chiefs plus 4. And we're going to take the over. Over of 44.5. I feel like that's almost guaranteed. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Lamar Jackson. It's happening. It's going over 44.5. And then you've got a more lopsided game in the eyes of the bookmakers, in the eyes of the odds makers. You've got Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers. I have been told this game's weather conditions will be less extreme than in Santa Clara last week. The line is 7.5 points. 49ers are favored, and the over-under is 51.5. Now, personally there, I like Detroit plus 7.5. I'm liking the points here. And the over-under is where I become a little more tentative. I tend to think that San Francisco will win this game, but I don't think it's going to be by more than a touchdown. So it's a kind of dangerous game to play when you take the dog but don't think they're going to win. But that's what I'm going to do this week. And then I will be taking the over because I like the offenses on both these teams. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll take the over. And because there's not a lot, there wasn't a whole lot to review. There wasn't a whole lot to preview. That's going to be it for me this week. Not feeling great. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. And hopefully we can do a bigger preview kind of thing for the Super Bowl, which is, almost 2 weeks away. This has been Matt Kerr on Hot Action Podcast. See you in a week. Peace out.